Right, in this video, I want to talk about being more intentional, which is something I am slowly trying to work on in this year because 2026 is a year where I want to start being more intentional, such as intentional what I want in life and intentional the goals I want to do and kind of intentional of the projects I want to do. Because the past couple years, right, that all the other things I've been doing is I just been doing saying yes to a lot of opportunities, such as saying yes to work for this children's and saying yes to this project. But 2026 is I want to start being more intentional. I want to start really locking in and focusing on certain things that will help me achieve my goals. Because right now I feel like I'm at this point where I'm just distracted. Like I just feel like I have so much distractions happening. Like so many on social media or random opportunities or people want to go hang out with you. And sometimes you gotta cut those distractions and you gotta focus on that one specific goal you want. Now, how do you find this? Well, I'm still figuring this out myself. So I think the best way I've been doing is just journaling, honestly. Journaling has been the best way how I can start being intentional. And in order to get to the point where you are intentional, is you gotta try shit out. You gotta try a bunch of things, such as start with that passion project you want to do, start that business, start whatever idea it is. And it's not going to be easy because you're going to get distracted and you're going to move away from your goals. That's why you need to have a strong why in life, because if you have a strong why, then you'll keep pushing through. That's why intentionality is everything. Even when you're making content, when you in the gym, the food you eat, your like where you live, even wherever you are, because intentionality is everything. If you think and look at all the successful business people, entrepreneurs, they all had intention. Think about it, right? Elon Musk had a plan. He didn't have a perfect plan, but he had a vision. He had an intention behind what he wanted to do. Jeff Bezos, they had a vision. They didn't have a perfect plan, but have a rough plan where to start, and they took action. And that's something I need to work on this year specifically. Just be more intentional. I think that's the what I want to do this year. Honestly, be intentional and just go through there, because the problem with right now is I'm always distracted. The reason why you don't have intentionality in your life, because you're distracted. You're distracted by shiny object syndrome. You're distracted by weird things that will go in your way. Sometimes in life, you gotta say no. You gotta say no to these opportunities. You gotta say no and actually respect your priorities. Because if you don't know what you want in life, then you're just gonna live in the world where everything's full of distractions and you don't know yourself that well. So that's what I'm planning to do this year. It's been more intentional, because I think the past couple of years I feel like I've been fucking around, and I only started to realize this because I haven't achieved my results. I thought last year I said I want to hit 10k a month. I didn't hit 10k a month, and I said I want to go traveling, but the problem is that I wasn't intentional. I wasn't really specific. You gotta be really specific what you want, because sometimes when you say, oh, I want to hit 10k, make 10k, $10,000 a month. Why do you want to make $10,000 a month? Are you just saying it because you see some online guru on the internet like Iman Gatsi, how to make 10k a month doing SMA or some bullshit? You gotta write it down. Write it down. For me, I want to make 10k a month through my photography prints. That's intentionality. And you gotta keep writing it down and keep journaling. And the only way you do it is by taking action and just documenting. Well, not documenting. Intention and just trial and error. You have to keep doing it, because you gotta be really specific. Because you can make $10,000 in anything. Honestly, you can make $10,000 doing photography. You can make $10,000 on videography. You can make $10,000 being a business work being a doctor. $10,000 being a lawyer. $10,000 running a garbage business if you want. There's so many options. It's more like, okay, what's the process and what's the pain and suffering you want to go through when you start that business? Because everything has pros and cons. Because there's things in life where some people make a fuck ton of money, right? But they don't like the job they're doing. They don't like what they are doing. But then there's some people who like what they're doing, but they find it hard to make a fuck ton of money. So that's when intentionality is important. And the only way you get better at this is by just try and error, by just deciding what you actually want to do. Find something that's interesting in your life. Find something that's for fun. It doesn't have to be something you like, do it for money. But at the same time, you got to find something that will help you make money and something you enjoy. And the only way you do this is by just trying shit out. So that's what I want to come in and talk about. Intention is everything. Even like one of my other friends, right? He's a videographer. He always says he's intentional. He's intentional with how he makes his Instagram content, how he creates his videography content, how he structures everything. He's very intentional because that's how he gets certain clients. That's why you got to be intentional what you want in life. It's like, for example, right now, since I want to become like a full-time travel photographer and videographer, I'm only posting travel content. Travel content that's related to my niche and my perfect clients. And for example, for the prints, the type of photos I want to target is more travel photography prints, because I want to target more of those people, because I'm very intentional. Because beforehand, I used to post random shit. I used to do portrait photography. I used to do, I don't know. Yeah, I used to do portrait photography. I used to do like that creative photography stuff, which I still like, but it's not the direction I want to go with. So you got to be intentional. Intentionality is everything. Even making this video, it's very intentional. Like, even like, the reason why I actually made this video, because I wanted to just get it out there and just actually focus on just talking in front of the camera. Because, yeah, I could actually probably have the fancy line set up, make it polished, but I didn't want that. I just want to make it quick and easy, and as a way to articulate my thoughts. So, always remember, be intentional and you'll get the desired results. And the only way you be intentional is by just journaling and be very specific. Be very specific what you actually fucking want. If you look at all the success, they're very specific. They write it down. Be very specific. Like, for example, me, I want to make 10K a month for my photography prints, right? For some of my travel prints where I'm able to have financial freedom to go to travel anywhere, such as all over Asia, Europe, and America. And you got to be very intentional about everything. Just write it down. Because before you know it, you're going to go through life in autopilot. And the reality is, most people do live their life in autopilot. That's the sad reality. Some people just like live their life in autopilot. Like, for example, a lot of rich people who make a lot of money, they're very intentional. You know, if you're not intentional, then you just become a lottery winner. Do you want to be a lottery winner or not? No, of course not. I don't want to be a fucking lottery winner. I want to be intentional what I want in life. That's what I want. Because there's the reason why some people win the lottery. A lottery win is it's based on luck. That's why, you know, the old saying that every lottery winner goes broke. Do you know why? Because they don't learn the skills of how to maintain that. Because they don't have the fundamentals. The reason why you are where you are today, because you're not that person who's capable to do it. And that's what I'm still working on to this day. If I want to become the person I want to, such as be able to make 10K a month through my business, I got to think like a business owner. Beforehand, I used to think like a creative. But I think now these days, I'm trying to train myself like a business owner, not just a hobbyist. Because beforehand, when I was making content, photography content or videography for my Instagram, I was just training like a hobby. I was just training because I felt like it. But now these days, I'm trying to transition to become a business owner, like an entrepreneur, which is something I've been trying to work out, but it's taking me time to think like that, because I've got to think like a businessman. I'm trying to transition into that. And that's something I'm still working on. You got to think like a business owner. Every successful content creator, business person, always think like a business owner. Even people who make money out of their passions, you got to think like a business owner. You can't just think just like a content creator or think like an employee. You got to think like a business owner if you want the life you want. So, hope this helps. Anyways, see you. Bye.